It's 4:17 p.m. June 25th. Is it 25th?
It is the 25th.
I have an exam in an hour and a half, and this is what I'm doing instead. I think I get it.
He gets it.
It should be fine. We got the goat that nobody knows. If you don't want to say your name, you don't have to. I don't think anyone's watching this.
That's okay. We'll keep the mystery aura in case someone watches.
He's just a man.
Just a man. Just a guy.
Have you seen those videos where he's like, is it an outfit or is he just a man? Have you seen those?
No.
I feel like those are weirdly entertaining. It'll be like it'll be a girl. She'll see a guy wearing an outfit, and then she'll try the outfit on.
I see. I don't think I've ever planned like my outfit, so
You just wake up in the morning and pick something out.
yeah. So definitely just a man.
I mean, you are the man, so like, you are a man.
I am a man.
This is just like me in my room at 3 a.m. This is what I'm. I'll be just like going through the motions. It's like, what am I saying?
Yeah.
Talking to the camera is kind of hard. Like, you feel like even just like as it turns on,
Yeah.
like you start to change. It's hard to be more. I guess people would use the term natural.
I don't know. Maybe it's harder to like. I don't know. Like, you're so focused on the image you're like showing of yourself, not like the like
You
video.
think? I feel like, is that a conscious thing or a subconscious?
Ooh, I don't know. Cause now it's a conscious thing because you're talking about it.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, when it feels like when you think about your breath, like now you're gonna have to think about breathing,
Yeah, sure.
right? Versus this whole time you were not thinking about breathing.
Sure. I am thinking about everything now, yeah.
It's like the same thing. Now we're gonna think about our image regardless because we talked about it.
Yeah. I don't know if people do it. Like, I think everyone has someone, maybe everything we see online is just a persona. There are some people who seem, I mean, I guess I don't know. Have you ever met somebody that you've seen on camera and then met them in person? And, like, they were different? I imagine usually people are. Usually people are not the same on
I'd
camera as
imagine
they
so. I'd imagine so because I think a lot of people on camera have a lot higher energy than they do in real life.
Yeah. But I feel like a lot of people do a good job making their personas
Genuine?
seem genuine.
My thing is, I wouldn't know. Actually don't know anyone who like has an online persona, and I also know in real life.
No, more in the sense, like, at least when people are watching them, people are not, like, typically people aren't, like, calling them fake or whatever.
Oh yeah.
So in that sense, like, it feels real enough where to the point where people don't comment on it.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess talking to the camera, I'm trying to make it as, like, I'm just saying words. But I definitely do change. Like, I'm not going to be, like, when I'm, like, sitting in my bed thinking randomly, if there's no camera in front of me, like, I guess I'm kind of avoiding the negative. I will talk a little about the negative, but then as soon as I start talking about the negative, like, it just doesn't feel right. It's like, why am I putting negative out into the world?
I see, but
It's like a positive bias.
yeah, but it's like regardless of a camera being there or not, like when we talk, like even if you talk just to yourself but out loud and you're saying negative things, you're still putting negative out there.
I suppose, yeah, in my own self.
In your own self, which some might argue is more important than like what you feel externally. So I don't think it needs to be like you shouldn't talk about negative things, especially if you're trying to be genuine.
Yeah, but then just it's like, have you heard the thing where it's like, if there's a bunch of people in a room,
Yeah.
and then like somebody farts, okay? Like, hear me out. Somebody farts.
Yeah.
And then like there's like a few ways you can look at that. You can be like, oh dang, like he just did that. It's like not an appropriate space. But then like say one person starts to think, it's like yeah, you know what, like farting's natural. Like it's okay. I'm gonna do it too. And then another person farts. And then next thing you know, like we're in this cesspool of like, I don't know, it's like a room of 100 people, like, and like 80 of them are farting. And like, yeah, okay, it's like, it's cool, like we're not stigmatizing that, like, it's not that big of a deal. But like, it is a big deal when 80 people are doing it, and now you have this like super, like, poorly smelling room, and the vibe, it's very negative.
Yeah.
So I think it's the same thing of like, this is why I think like venting isn't always good. Because, like, for example, after somebody farts, you like feel better, you feel more comfortable. That's true. maybe this is where the analogy runs out. But like with emotions, like venting does make you feel better, but it doesn't always like resolve the emotion.
Yes.
Like you will feel better, but like that'll come back. It might come back the next day.
I think it's like destigmatizing something versus like normalizing it. I think there's a difference.
So like use the farting in the room example.
Like
To help
if someone
understand.
farts, then a destigmatized community won't like they won't be like, oh, that's such an inappropriate thing to do. They're also not gonna like all like start farting,
Okay.
right?
You see where like how it's like it's sort of like a flood. It's like maybe I'm using the floodgate argument. That's like a logical fallacy.
I don't think it's like a floodgate thing. I think it's just like, cause, like, okay, it's like, you don't have to do something. Like, is this a net neutral? Like doing, like we take away like, oh, farting is bad, from like, oh, like farting in like public places is bad, right? But like at the same time, we're not introducing that you should. Like we're saying you shouldn't, but it's okay if you do.
Yeah, but like see like what I'm talking about like in the analogy. If it's okay if you do, like so now we can like go back to like talking like venting or like
Yeah.
talking about like emotions. That's great. That's great. But then like I think this is where like we have like a big victim mentality problem. Like and like you and I are a part of this too because you've heard of groupthink, right?
Yeah.
Before? Like we grew up in Canada and this is just true. Like victim mentality is like very popular. It's very common, and it exists. Probably some not. I wouldn't say it's innate, but at a lower level of thought than most things.
Yes.
And I think that idea of like it's one thing to destigmatize something, but then you get to a point. I think you can go too far in the other direction, which I think we have. Of like now everyone's playing the victim. Like it's not my fault.
Yeah, I think.
But if it's not your fault, then if it's nobody's. If it's not your fault, who's gonna be the one to change it?
Yeah,
you know?
I think.
It's like just like you forego all accountability, and everything is
we have
somebody
a
else's
big
fault.
accountability issue.
Everything is somebody else's fault.
Right.
And like
okay.
I think that too sometimes. I'm just like this professor is dumb. I don't know what they're talking. Like they don't know how to teach me. Like okay, how do people learn things if they're not a professor? Like
Yeah.
Like that can be true, but like then my first thought is to think, oh, there's no point, and somebody else's fault.
Yeah, I think it's like. In terms of emotions, I think it's okay to acknowledge how you feel, but also acknowledge that, like, at the end of the day, you're in charge of them. It's like, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay in
Well-
your analogy to say your profs are annoying and they can't teach. By the end of the day, it's your responsibility to pass your courses. You can have both. You can be like, yeah.
Yeah.
You can be like, yes, this person hurt me, and yes, it makes me want to do things less. At the same time, you should know that like they're not gonna like make you feel better for you. Like they shouldn't have to make you feel better for you to like continue doing the things that you're responsible for. Right?
Yeah.
Like
which is hard. It's not always.
It's hard. It's really hard. Yeah.
Because it.
Like my thing is like I try to like this is gonna sound so like very like concentrated in this example, but it's like think about like if you like let's say we grow up, we have families, right?
Okay, so like I don't know, we're 28, 29.
28, 29. Let's say you have like
a
newborn, maybe like even like 4 or 5 years away. Okay, right?
I have to have a baby in like 3 years, bro.
Let's
Anyways,
say-
continue.
yeah, okay.
For argument's sake.
For argument's sake, let's say we have family.
Baby
and-
tomorrow.
Baby tomorrow, right? It'd be like, and let's say like someone, like in your job, let's say like someone fires you, or let's say like someone like hurt your feelings, that makes you not want to do your job or not want to like do like what you're doing to provide like food for your family, right?
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, it's still your responsibility to do so.
Yeah.
You can't like, because I think it makes it easier to like understand, because like you're not gonna let your kid like go hungry, like presumably.
Or you're gonna try your best.
You're gonna try your best, right? So it's like, I think it's interesting when you're only responsible for yourself, you make it so much easier to not fulfill those responsibilities, even if it's like group work or like providing for a family or like doing something for a friend, just like that, it was just that added sense of like, I'm doing this for someone else. Like at least for me personally, it's just like, it makes it more important than if I was doing something just for me. Like let's say we made plans tomorrow, like let's go to the gym at like 6 a.m. Like I'd wake up at like 5 a.m. to like go to the gym. But let's say if I was like, I'll go to the gym at 6 a.m. by myself, then I may like I'll just sleep and like it doesn't matter.
I was thinking something similar, where it is true when it's just ourselves, like when nobody's really when one's only responsible for themselves, then seemingly we're less inclined to keep going forward. It's weird because that seems like that's like freedom.
Yeah.
Like you're more free. Like you have no, you're only responsible to yourself, which is what a lot of people say they want. Even like I've thought about that as well, where it's just like it's just me. So it's interesting that people will attach themselves willingly or unwillingly to other responsibilities.
Yeah.
That could be like a I don't know, a girlfriend.
It could be a girlfriend
Or like
the
a
amount of people I
child.
know is like, oh, I really like this girl. Like now I'm gonna get in shape. Now I'm gonna like focus on my career. Like because I really like this girl, I wanna like be a certain way for her.
Yeah.
But like this was your life the entire time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like you could have like improving your life earlier.
Yeah, I mean it's also true. It's funny because again we're in North America, which has it's probably the most like independent focused place on the planet.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because we're talking about how it's in being in service to other people that your life somewhat moves forward. I don't know. I'm trying to think about like when people talk about these self-made billionaires, like what did they do it for? Like who did they do it for? I don't know.
Like even though okay, this is like a whole different comment, but like we'll come back to this. But self-made billionaires, it's just like, sure, you're self-made compared to like people who like inherited, like you're still never like truly self-made.
Oh sure.
Yeah, but that's like a whole.
That's a
different
whole other spiral.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever self-made.
Yeah.
Inherent, like not fully.
Yeah, I think
More
it's
so
just
than
like
others.
going back to what you were talking about though. I can feel myself doing the Showtime thing where it's like I'm talking to an audience rather than I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
But
I think like for a brief few minutes, I wasn't thinking about it too much.
I wasn't either, but now like I accidentally like set the
The
camera. Like,
camera?
yeah. But like I do think it's because inherently we hold ourselves to a lower standard than our image. Like okay, like, I think we want our image of ourselves to other people to be higher than we care about our own image to ourselves.
Well, because we know ourselves. At least we think we do.
Like I think we value self-perception less than we value perception by others.
Is that a bad thing?
I don't know. I just think it's a thing. I think like if like let's say like the project we were talking about earlier, like let's say if I was working on it, then I'd want you and like whoever we're working with to think I'm a responsible partner. To think like if you need something from me done, like I'll do it, and to maintain that perception, I'll do the things. Right? But my perception of myself is like I think I've maybe thought about like how I think of myself like once in my life, maybe like like in passing, like not really giving it much thought. So I don't really care about what I do to make myself look better to myself. Like for me, I can think of myself as a bum and I don't really care because at the end of the day, it's like I'm not hurting anyone's feelings or I'm not like painting someone because it's me. You don't care about what you think of yourself.
This seems like a really weird transition. I just thought I had like two things going on in my head while you were talking about that.
Yeah.
One was like we're talking about self-perception, and I was gonna bring up the like religion as an idea, because like a lot of religions, when you introduce like the idea of like God, whether you believe in God or not, when you introduce the idea of God, inherently, it's at least the way I think about it, like your perception of yourself does start to matter because now
You're responsible to God.
So it's maybe somewhat there's that concept, but it's also in the sense that like somebody's always watching, if you, regardless of whether you believe that or not.
Yeah.
Like inherently in that person's mind, like what I do is like if I steal and nobody sees it, like some higher power is watching that.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that we think I think we've come to the conclusion that like somewhat being responsible for other people while seemingly constricting your freedom makes you do the thing that you couldn't while you had it.
Yeah.
Like sort of like the way other people see you.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about like people who are religious and thinking like I wonder if that is an aid to people who are.
Yeah.
And then there was another point I want to talk. I was going to talk about like morality. I was going to bring up morality because you brought up like harm, like self-perception. It's not like harming anyone else. Do you think that something can be like? Do you think that the only way something is immoral is if you're harming, if you're harming another person? Because I'm gonna bring up an example. Luckily I'm not making any money, so I can talk about whatever I want. I'm not gonna. It doesn't matter if I get demonetized.
Yeah, I think it's like intent and like the impact of what you do. Like I could in my head, like let's say I really wanted to like throw you off this chair, right? And I like miss the push, okay? And you don't fall off, so like nothing bad happened to you. But I think it's still immoral action in my part to even like attempt or like the not attempt, the intent.
Yeah, you intended to harm me.
I intended to harm you, but I just didn't. And there's also like, let's say I was trying to, like, let's say you were drowning, I was trying to save you, but instead of like saving you, I made it like worse for you. Like I broke your arm or something, and it wasn't like it wasn't like a deep thing that you needed saving from. Then even though my intent was good for you,
I don't think that's morally wrong though.
I don't think it's, yeah, you're right. I guess then it does come down to intent. So I think intent is like this is gonna sound so stupid because I'm gonna bring like numbers into it and like signs. Like the intent is like the plus or the negative, and the negative is bad. Like obviously like this is like there's many counterexamples to this theory. But like let's say intent is like positive or negative, and then the action is like the multiplier. The impact is the multiplier.
Yeah. I guess you can have a negative multiplier too.
Yeah.
So like you can have like really good intent, but like horrendously screw up somebody's life.
Or no, like your multiplier is only positive. Like the intent is like negative or positive.
No, but then I don't think that works. Because I think you can have really good intent and like absolutely ruin people's lives.
And then it's like a
So
really,
you have to have a negative multiplier. This is where numbers get confusing.
Yeah, maybe
It
you shouldn't introduce numbers right now.
It
Maybe
can kind of work.
maybe think about it.
No, but like I think that's like it's a good point. Like I think intent, like actions.
Maybe we have two sign ones, intent, and then the like actual impact is like your number, and then we have another sign which was like intended outcome versus actual outcome, which is like another multiplier. So if you have actually no, this wouldn't work. This wouldn't work because then if you have a negative impact, a negative intent, and a negative impact, those would cancel out.
You need like another factor somewhere to get.
We'll come back to this.
We'll make a numerical system of of like action quality.
Yeah.
But I was more getting at, well, that's cool. I was more getting at like the idea like, do you think that something can be wrong if there's no intent or doesn't harm people? Because I think I have an example, but like I wanted to know before I give the example.
I'm trying to think.
Because like there's a guy like, I mean maybe we shouldn't bring this up, but we were talking about like the whole like people talking about like get educated or whatever.
Yeah.
It's really, to me, I'm gonna hate on some people. It's and this is me included. Sometimes I don't know where the things I think come from. Like the idea of the harm principle comes from a guy named John Locke, 1600s. So if you read his work, where like the modern modernist and postmodernist thought of morality comes from in terms of the harm principle comes from a guy named John Locke.
Okay.
It's like the base. It was a lot of the basis of like the U.S. Constitution as well. It's his work. No hate to the people who get educated. But yeah. So like, what do you think? Do you think that's his philosophy? John Locke's philosophy said like that's the harm principle.
Like what is it?
Like that morality is based off of whether you cause harm.
Okay.
But I think I have an example where like I think this is like you shouldn't do this.
Okay, I think I'm gonna say there's more to it, so it's not just.
Do you have an example? Because I think I have an example. Maybe people disagree with me.
Okay, so I think. Okay, before I answer your question, I'm gonna give you a question. Do you think you can do good without having the intent to do good? You think you can be a good person without having the intent to be a good person?
Like,
you know how the question you posed was, is morality based on the harm you do? I ask, is morality based on the good you do?
I think I think your intentions line up, like while your intentions don't necessarily always line up with your actions, over a long period of time, your intentions and your actions tend to like align. So if your intentions are poor, you won't remain doing good things. If your intentions are good, eventually you will start to do good things.
I can. That's agreeable.
Like I think when we think about like a one-off or case of like your intentions are good and something bad happens, or your intentions are bad and something good happens, like that's usually over a small sample size. Usually your intentions and your actions, like they will line up.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, what was your example?
Do you think incest is moral?
Do I think incest?
You're not harming anybody.
I think
I don't
incest
know.
is disgusting and gross, but I don't think it falls on the. Do you think every action is moral or immoral? Because if not, then I don't think it would fall on the spectrum of being immoral.
I think the way I think about it is like every action is moral until it's not. Like there is a spectrum, and there's a spectrum of like what is good and bad, and there are things that are not as bad as others. Like I'd say like giving you a high five on this is like a moral thing to do. It's fine.
What about going on a walk, or like, what about like looking outside? Like I'm looking at the window, and that's what I'm doing.
See, no, this is interesting. Now you're looking at the window. Are you like looking at a? Like, are you ogling some girl walking by, or are you just like?
Okay,
you see what I'm saying? Like,
okay, let's say
like one is probably less moral than the other.
We're going like stargazing. We're just like going outside and looking at stars. Is that a moral action?
Yeah, I think so. It's like fun.
It's
It's like on the spectrum of like I think it's chill. You can do that and it's fine.
okay. Okay, then is incest?
Because like every action in some inherently has to have like some good or bad. Like
I don't like. If we're going with your premise, then I understand what you're saying.
But you don't have.
But my premise is not everything impacts your morality. I think, like, just you can do some things that which isn't like things that don't make you a good or a bad. Don't
like what's give me an example.
like stargazing. Like I'm not doing anything good by stargazing. I'm not adding to my morality as a person. I'm not like doing anything bad, but I'm not like it's not a moral thing. Like I guess in that case, then your example would work because it'd just be zero on the spectrum, right? Like
What,
if there's a
incest?
thing. No, stargaze.
I don't necessarily think stargazing would be a zero though. With numbers, it's weird, but like, safe. This is I don't know. Maybe I'm not. I might be using some logical fallacies. I try not to as much as I can. But say you go stargazing.
Yeah.
And you're just like I don't know. You're just pondering life in the universe, and for whatever reason, like you just like pondering creation. Something good comes of that. Like, would you like? Okay, I'll give you this. What is a more moral thing? Do you think, if we're using my premise, stargazing or doom scrolling Instagram Reels? Maybe I should. Maybe I'm like adding a negative bias. Scrolling, like you're just on Instagram. Like, what is more? What feels? See, this is really interesting. I think maybe this is a.
Okay, what's your definition of morality though?
What's my definition of morality?
Like,
Okay.
what are we talking about the same thing here?
Okay, here's the thing. I think people have tried to like intellectualize morality.
Okay.
And I think. See, this is gonna think because I can't prove this with science. I just can't.
There's a lot of things you can't.
Yeah, but that doesn't work in our region of the world. People won't accept that, which is fine.
It's okay. No one's watching.
No one's watching.
No one's watching.
Your question was, what is morality?
Yeah.
I think there is like some. If the intellect is of like the brain, comes of the brain, then I'd say the way I would think about morality inherently doesn't come from something intellectual. It comes from something, I guess you could call it spiritual. It comes from like if I were to break down what I think would be like my version of like human consciousness. You have the intellect, you have the body, and you have like the soul and its version of the intellect. If that makes sense. Like when you think about incest, it feels wrong.
Yes.
And the reason I think science can cover this is because inherently, I mean, maybe it can, maybe you could make a case that like your offspring, for example, in that sense, wouldn't be very strong, so there's no reason to be inclined to do that.
Yeah.
You could maybe make a case for that. But like, I don't inherently think that that is true. It could be partly true. But I think it comes from something where it's like, there's just a feeling, like it doesn't feel right. And like, inherently, I think you can make an intellectual case that like incest is fine.
I think you could too.
Like, I don't have it's intellectually problem with like somebody else doing that. Intellectually. But it doesn't feel right. And I don't know why.
I think, like,
yeah.
I don't think there's like a general like solution, because like incest is one example, right?
Yeah, I just think it's a good example.
It's a good example, but like,
do you have another example?
I don't have another example. I just think like, okay, like we can like maybe classify it in like relationships that you build, right? Like we assign certain things. Like it's like the same reason. Like it's gonna sound so stupid, because like have you thought of that thing where it's like when it's like a thing that like I think like girls or women, they
Wait, I don't know where this is going.
it's okay, no one's watching. Like they have talked about more than like the guys have, but it's like when their like guy platonic friend feels like attracted to them romantically, it's like it kind of like hurts their feelings or like kind of like breaks their trust a little. Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, when like a guy, like one of their guy friends is interested. But I think that comes from the fact that like their paradigm and their understanding of men is just like some guy. Okay, this don't get it confused. I'm not saying that guys do not act inappropriately or that guys do not do things wrong once they're at that stage where like say they like a girl that's their friend. I'm not saying they act poorly, or like they don't treat them
poorly.
Huh?
You're saying they do act poorly.
No, I'm saying like at times they do. Like
Yeah.
and probably I'd say like more often than not.
Yeah.
But I think the hurt will come from them doing poor things if they do things that aren't good. But it also comes from the fact that it's like a misunderstanding of the way like that men are and the way that women are. Because I think there's a difference. Like there's a word in Arabic called like fitna, and it's basically like on average with men there is always, and this is biology too, before anyone hates them. On average there's always like some sense of like I don't like the word attraction. I think more like maybe allure is similar, but I like it better. There's always like some like allure. Like I think men and women can be friends, but inherently there will always be some. I use the word allure because it separates from attraction. Allure with men towards a woman, whereas I don't think that's the case for women. I don't think there always is that present for a woman towards in a heteronormative context, because I think it's different with same-sex stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if you'd agree or not.
I don't know. I think I disagree. Like, cause I'm trying to think of like I have like my like friends in the past.
Sure.
But there's some friends where it's like I don't see them, or I definitely see them. I don't treat them any different. Like I don't feel any differently than I would with like my guy friends.
Are there some girls that you do though?
There's some girls that I do feel differently.
But you don't like them.
I see what you're saying. I think it's like I see what you're saying. I'll concede that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what I don't think for women that's the same. And again, this is a generality. You can have exceptions to this.
Yeah.
There's always exceptions.
Yeah.
I just think generally, like, I don't know how to put it into words. You see, like, when you react to like what I was saying, is like, how do you put it into words? I don't know if I did a good job of explaining what I was trying to say.
I think you did.
It's like this. It's like an allure, and it sounds bad. Like if you're a woman listening to this, it sounds bad. It sounds bad, but I don't. Like if guys act in an appropriate way, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's just a thing that exists.
It's a thing that exists, but I think like look back to going back to our point. It's just like if you have a mismatch on like people who do participate in incest, they have a mismatch of the boundary of the relations, and for example, like you and I, right? Like we think we like our inherent like feeling that we can't really like intellectually like describe or whatever is like that's bad, right?
Yeah.
Or it's like that like that doesn't feel right. I guess it's like we have a misalignment of their feeling towards it. And I think it's like it's kind of similar, where it's like if I feel a certain way to my friends, but like like a female friend, I like them romantically, and they don't feel the same way. I think it's the same kind of like they don't. It doesn't have to be a bad thing where it's like friendship ruining or like you're not close anymore. But I think in like in that sense, like the person who doesn't feel the same way might just like inherently think it's a bad thing. So I think it's just like how you like what you were expect like what you are expecting and the boundaries of a relationship that you think.
Does something become immoral if you're harming yourself?
Yes, I think so. Like
So are drugs immoral?
yes, I'd say drugs are. I think the activity of doing drugs are immoral, but it's like just because you do drugs, you aren't an immoral person, but it is an immoral
No,
activity.
I think this is where people feel attacked. Like just because you do something that is immoral doesn't mean like the action is immoral.
Exactly.
You can always come back.
Exactly.
I mean, this is like you can do a bunch of wrong and come back from it. I feel like people think like when the term of like morality becomes such a big thing where like you do one like big moral flaw and like some are big,
Some are big, yeah.
but like you can always come back.
Yeah, like, yeah. You can, as a matter of fact, you could be a moral person while doing immoral things every single day and not changing them. You can smoke, you can do drugs every single day. Like, I don't really like participate in drugs. Like, I'm just not out there. But you could do drugs every single day and still be a moral person while you're doing this immoral activity.
Yeah, you can still be like net positive.
It can be net positive, and you can also stop doing it, and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean,
Like I think people like value like immoral things a lot more than moral things. Like moral things just become like their default way of doing things. Like you know what I mean? Like for example, if you like, if I needed some help and you were like nearby, like you chose like to come over to help me, you might think that's just what a good friend does, but it's still a moral thing to do. Like sure, like you're my friend, that's why you did it, but it's still a moral thing to do. But you're not really thinking of that when you're thinking, am I a good person or not? You like you try to like you, but you like at least in my experience and the people around me, like they look at their negative things and they're like, have I done enough good things to make up for that? But they don't really like keep track of all the good things that they've done. Just because it's like you notice outliers, right? But you don't notice good things that you do. Just because like I think I've been lucky enough where people around me have usually been like good people, quote unquote. Where it's like they do so many like regular good things that they just think it's the norm, but like one bad thing is just like, oh, I'm a bad person for doing this. So I think people just don't notice.
I mean, I think that point is interesting because I believe there have been better people than me. Like better people than me who have done worse than me.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that I mean, my friends and what did I say? I was talking to Karen. I was like, I'm gonna steal her hat. She's like, I'm gonna punch you. And then I said, I'll punch you back. I don't care I don't care if you're gonna, as a joke. Man, I'm gonna get canceled so fast. But then like they were like, she was like, oh, cancel. Like I think the like cancelling's existence is a big reason as to why people maybe it's gotten worse. It's like you do one bad thing.
That could be true, actually.
Like I think it's that what you're describing has always existed throughout history. When people do something like inherently wrong, like it's easy for them to fix it on that, and it's easy for others to fix it on that too.
Yeah.
But I think that it's like exponentially gotten worse because now we are in a world where if you do make a mistake, people don't give you a way back. They take it away.
Yeah. Yeah. It's also like I might be doing something immoral, like or something immoral like regularly, which I like. Cause now I'm thinking, cause I said, cause we do so many good things, or like people around us so do something, they don't notice like the good things they've done. I wonder if it's the same for the like immoral things we do. Like for example, like would you agree like cheating on like a school test is like an immoral thing?
Yeah.
So people like I know of
But and
people-
who are you harm? Like think about this: are you harming anybody by cheating on the school test? This is where it goes back to the harm principle. This is another example. Are you harming anyone?
like okay, I think you're harming yourself.
Which is then this goes back to because I don't think everyone agrees. Like our premise that we say that like harming yourself is immoral. I mean, I'm not that. I think you and I are similar in some ways. Like we can agree on that. But I don't think everyone agree on that. But
Yeah.
cheating isn't people. A lot of people. Most people say cheating is immoral. But you're not. Are you? Who are you hurting?
Yeah. Like you can be dishonest without hurting someone, I guess.
And is that dishonesty still immoral? Like this is the thing. Like this goes like back to white lies. Like if your girlfriend asks if she looks good in an outfit and she doesn't, like I feel like what is more immoral? Telling her the truth or lying to her? I think like I don't know. For me that would feel like you just tell her that she. Like, do you be honest with her? You tell her that she looks good, or that it looks good.
Are you asking me personally for this example, or are you?
Yeah, I'm asking you. What'd you do?
Like
Cause I like in my head I'd be like I'd always think she looks good,
yeah,
regardless of if what she's wearing looks good or not.
yeah. I agree, but it's also like it depends, cause like let's say like it's just you and her, like you're gonna go out quick like coffee run, right? And they're like, oh, do I look like good enough to go out? And I'm like, yeah. Right, but like
Sure.
let's say she graduated and she's going to her convocation and she wants to take photos that are gonna like last forever, that she's gonna put everywhere. Like then do you tell her something you think could look better? Or do you still think
Okay,
she always looks beautiful?
there's a difference between like telling her that maybe there's something that look better and telling her like she looks bad. Like if she like you ask like do I look good?
Is
Like maybe you could spin it positively. Like the most moral thing to do would be like, I think you look great, but like maybe like tweak this or something like that.
yeah, or like I don't know, Like I'd agree, like 99% of the time I'm like you always look beautiful.
Even if you.
Even if you like there's like you know
No,
there's
that's interesting. Do I always?
it's weird because it is like a little bit immoral to like do you only like this person because they always look good to you, or is it because you like them that they always look good to you? And would you still like them if you thought they looked bad, or is it like because you're that person you could never look bad to me?
I think that this is maybe kind of weird, but I think a person. What are we at? 38. We have to wrap it up soon.
Yeah. I was looking at the time because you have your exam soon too.
Oh, what's the time? 40. Okay. We show.
Yeah.
We got.
Show for the exam, please.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Fingers
Uh,
crossed. Knocking wood out.
What's I gonna say? What was my point? We were talking about girlfriends. Oh, I was gonna say. I think when you like somebody, like one of that girl I showed you on Twitter, she tweeted. She's like, why do guys, like taking photos where girls like
They don't look as
where like girls look kind of weird, they look silly.
yeah.
And then one guy, one of the guys, the no new thing guy, was like, it's because that's how you know they really, really like them, because they like seeing them sort of like as they are in a variety of different situations, regardless of whether like they look, I don't know, good in some objective capacity, even though that doesn't really exist. So when you ask like, do you think they look good all the time because you like them? Well, yeah, but do you think that they look good all the time because you also like the way that they look? Generally, I guess both are true, no?
Both are true, but it's like
Here's-
one feels more like doesn't not more. One feels more like materialistic or like, what's the word I'm looking for? Not immoral, not materialistic. But one feels
like
more
vain.
Yeah, one feels more vain than the other. Like you can
Sure,
be so
maybe
in
might
love
feel
with
more
someone.
vain, but it's true. Like
Yeah, yeah,
okay, no, maybe this is an example of twins. You use twins as an example.
yeah.
So you are dating or married to a sister, and the other they look the same,
Identical.
identical, when the twin, this is a hard one now because I don't know, the twin is like dressed down, that like the one you're dating is like just in, I don't know, like they just woke up.
Yeah.
And the other one like, I don't know, is out for ready for some event.
Yeah.
Like what like one looks good and the other you like. It's like, actually I think that's simple. And for me in my head that's simple. It's like, sure they can look good, but then like I still like this person.
Yeah, and like, yeah, I think it's like, it's definitely more than just how they look. It's like how you feel about them.
Yeah, because maybe I
Like
can
how
bring
you
it
feel
back
about
to,
them impacts the way you think.
what if they
about
both
them.
just woke up? Both these twins just woke up. Like who are you more, and you can say, for argument's sake, like they look the same, but you know who's who.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then then I think the only thing that's making it different.
Is how you feel with them, or what your relationships with them like. No.
Yeah, like you'd probably think of like that twin as like maybe like how like my sister wakes up and she like her hair's a mess and like her breath is bad or something like that. Like the only difference is that you like one of them or you love one of them.
Yeah, I think this is
You wouldn't be rude about it, but
I think this is inherently a good thing. It's like a feature and not a bug. But when you like someone, you put them on a pedestal. You think of them more than they are. You think they're like smarter. You think they're like better looking. You think they're kinder, nicer than they actually are. And I think that's a feature. That's necessary for stuff to work.
I think there's a difference between like a pedestal and something being like somebody glittering. Actually, that is a pedestal.
I think that is a pedestal.
But that can be bad. Like it is a feature. I don't know. Does that last though? Like I feel like my parents don't put each other on a pedestal at this point in their 25 years of marriage. Like they're very aware of everything that's wrong with the other.
I think regardless of how aware they are, like let's say someone who like looked similar to your dad, like was about the same intellect, right? Like same mannerisms. Like there's no reason for your, like obviously your mom's gonna like your dad, like be with your dad, but there's no reason for your mom to like listen to your dad's opinion more than like this random guy's, but she will. Even if it's not like relationship related. If like some things are like very like, you know what I mean? Like when I like someone, I think this might be a me issue. Low-key, this might be a me issue. But I think more of them than I would like even someone like maybe like objectively like smarter or better suited for that like specific situation. Like I just like listen to them. I value their opinion more. Which might be a me issue, low-key. Like, I don't think this is a universal thing. But I think you do put people on pedestals.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's always not always, but I feel like a lot of times you are a little bit more like, if they were to do something with some random were to do something, the same thing, it's always a little bit like...
Well, it's like what you would do for them versus what you do for someone who's not them. Like, even if, like, let's say you like someone, and you do a nice thing for them, like, sure, your intentions are like, I'm not doing this nice thing so that they'll like me back. I'm doing this thing because I like them, I want to be nice to them. But, like, you might not do that for like one of your other friends.
So you are doing it because you want them to like you.
But is it? I don't think it's because you want them to like you. I just think you like them so much that you want nice things for them, so you do something nicer.
I think it can be both.
I guess.
That's muddy, bro. Because if you, those are really different things.
Those are really different things. Those are very different things.
Yeah, dang. I don't know how we got here in this conversation. That's the fun part, though.
What do we start with? We started with the time and the date.
We always start at the time and the date. This is gonna be the longest one. That's hype.
Throw the peace sign. I don't know when this video is gonna end, but
he's on full Showtime mode now.
No. The peace sign was like full Showtime mode, but everything else was genuine. Well, for the most part, I might have lied here and there. Not lied. I might have phrased my thoughts in a.
Are we gonna get canceled? We were talking about gender norms. We were talking about morality. We managed to not talk about.
the universe.
No, the New York mayor race.
I think it's because we talked about it before.
Oh yeah, we'd already gotten it out of the way. I don't think that'd have been interesting to talk about.
I also don't like. I know very limited facts about the race, right? Like I know the candidates. I know like the lore behind them. I don't know like what New Yorkers
Policies.
want and like what they're offering, in terms of like like so. I don't know how insightful that conversation would have been. It might have been like more like jokes. I think.
Yeah, I guess maybe we need to know more. That's the thing. I feel like there was this. Maybe this will end. Maybe we'll end on this.
This goes back to like get educated, doesn't it?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
I guess.
it like led into our conversation. A bit.
Yeah.
But I think that in grade 10, future forums class, which is like civics plus English, in one class, we read this article where it was like, you need to know a certain amount about a topic to have an opinion on it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think.
It does, but that's like nobody does that. Like even you and me.
Yeah, like we talk about like.
We'll have opinions on things. We have no business having an opinion.
Exactly. I think that's very idealistic. Like you should.
Like you'll always feel a certain way about it, but you like openly sharing an opinion can then start to influence other people.
Yeah,
And if you don't know enough.
Like when was the last time you changed your opinion on something? On like something you actually cared about.
Yeah.
I don't think people really do that. Something like okay, let's say you felt strongly about something, but you didn't like fully know the details behind it. I think whether that's like selective bias or whether that's just human nature, like even like the information you get, like you frame it to yourself in a way where like supports your point. Like I think I've had like my opinion change on things like not like never, but like some very occasionally.
This is interesting you mentioned this. When we talk about opinions changing. I don't think people changing their opinions is inherently an intellectual thing, and the way the form in which we try to change people's opinion is in an intellectual manner, whether it's like through debate, through a conversation. Like, I think inherently it's the way that you feel about that information. You can tell somebody all of the facts. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't including us like you can talk about like a relationship thing. Like you can know like something like any example. Like it's not the trueness of the facts that changes your opinion or changes the way you act. It's how you feel about it.
Yeah.
And this is like where my whole like I'm trying to like tie together like an essence of like human being. I think there is some like version of intelligence that comes from something that isn't intellect, that isn't the brain.
Yeah.
Because you don't I don't change my opinion on something because of the fact. People tell me all the true facts, and like I can acknowledge that I am wrong intellectually. That doesn't mean how I feel about the topic changes.
Yeah, and
I think I have had my opinion change, like how I felt about it.
Exactly,
But it wasn't because of some intellectual
exactly.
thing that somebody told me.
which is why like, do you need to know certain things before having an opinion? Like if intellectualism isn't what's changing your opinion, then why do you need to know whatever amount of things you need to know before having an opinion? Sorry. Before like, let me get this thought off before I forget. But like, what you're talking about, like, you can have all the information about the way you feel about it. It's like, it's the same thing when people talk about their types. I think types are usually fake.
Okay, well, I don't know if they're. What do you mean by fake?
Like, let's say you have a type, okay?
Yeah.
Let's say this person has you say your person has characteristics X, Y, Z, whatever.
Sure.
I find your person characteristics X, Y, Z. I'm like, oh, this person's your exact type. But let's say you found someone who's like doesn't have any of the characteristics you mentioned in your type,
Yeah.
but you just like them. You're not gonna be like, I don't like them. You're not my type. Like your type is like a placeholder for when you don't actually like.
Sure,
know
but
something.
I think it helps. I don't think it's fake. Like for me, for example, like people like a physical example. Like I like lighter skinned people.
Yeah.
With like brunette black hair.
Yeah.
Most. Not that I haven't liked blondes before.
Yeah.
Like not that I wouldn't be with somebody who doesn't have those things.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I don't think it's fake. If that makes sense. Like I think I could be like I have been interested in people who don't fit that.
Yeah.
But I don't. Maybe it's like the weight that you give to a type, I suppose.
I guess. Like, I don't know. Like for me, I think it's like pretty fake. I think it's like.
Do you like what would you like physically? Like what would you describe it as? Like what do you?
like I
We
don't
don't have to
know.
get weird. Just like.
Like, okay,
I mean, I could get weird.
we could get weird, but like we're still recording, so let's not for now. Let's not for
I mean,
now.
I could get weird.
We could get, but like let's say okay, like a general type that most guys that I know have is like, oh, this person has to be shorter than me.
Bro, I want somebody. I have to be down for somebody to be taller than me, though. Like, I'm not a part of this.
Okay, like you
Generally,
excluded, generally,
just me excluded.
right? Like I'll exclude.
That would
Oh
be-
shit! I don't know if you're trying to say your name.
No, I don't care.
Okay,
I say other people's names. I think. Have I said yours?
I don't think so. But you said one of your friends.
I only say like first names, never last.
Alright. Everyone but your everyone, like
Everyone but me.
right? Or like the girls I know, they'll be like, I want the guy like I'm dating to be taller than me, right?
Yeah.
But there's been times when they just like someone and they're not taller because, like the type is not the person. The type is a description of the person. But what matters like infinitely times more is the actual person. Like it's the same thing with going back with twins, right? Like physically or like even like emotionally they might be very similar. They might have even been to the same school. But like you can like describe them as much as you want and they might look the same on paper. But what matters like 1,000, like trillion times more is the actual person. So I think sure you can have a type and sure it can be like semi-accurate, but I just don't think it's real. Like it's not like your type is a placeholder for until you don't know the person.
I think you're coming from a man's paradigm. I think if you were to ask, and this isn't a bad thing. I'm not hating on women. I think
no hating women.
no hating
here.
women. No hating women. I think I agree with you, but I'm also a man, and I think
To get a female
I-
co-guest.
I think, yeah, we need a female co-guest. I think it's like I'm not saying that women wouldn't be with people who aren't their type. That's not what I'm saying. But I think the way that you're thinking about types is a little bit different. A little bit different in men and women in a heteronormative context. Because I somewhat agree with you.
Yeah.
Now, I know it was different? No. I don't know what would be different, but I'm not a woman, so I don't know. Because I don't know what it's like to be a woman. I just feel that it might be different. From what I've seen, in terms of like, from externally seen, from like how like women will act
Yeah.
towards men. Not that it's a bad thing. I just think it's different.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess it's like. Okay, I think we should probably end this video soon.
We can go to an hour.
Well, what's the where are we at right now?
52. This is gonna be like the special, like homie special. But you have to help me come up with a title. I don't know. Like the thing is that like I've just been putting random like pretentious stuff on as the title. Like the first title was like it started as something strange and it'll return to be something strange. So like you have to help me come up with a title because we talked about a lot of different things. There's not a real theme.
We could just call it philosophy. Just leave it at that.
Bro, no, we're not doing that. We'll think about
You think about
it.
it.
Sorry, you were saying?
What was it? I think it's like a selection versus like a segmentation versus a selection thing, maybe for other people and me. Like it might be like some people might only give people who fit their like mold of a type a chance, versus some people who might describe their type based on the people they've liked before. Like let's say you have a type. This is like not Ahel's type. I'm using him as an example. Right? Let's say you have a type that you like tall women who
I mean,
are
I
like
do, but
like let's say like it's something not your type that are hella blonde, you know, like whatever.
Sure.
Like, whatever. Right? Do you then only like look like let's say you are looking for a girl, or you're looking to go on a date? Are you only then looking for girls who fit those, or you think about the girls you've liked in the past, and then you find their common traits, and then you say that's your type?
I think I'm a bad example of this because every girl that I've liked, tremendously different.
Right, which is what I'm saying, that your type doesn't matter, because you can't, like, if I, like, the girls that I know that you've liked, and you know that you've liked, they don't fit the same pattern.
Not in looks, not in
personality, not in, like,
not in values.
not in values, right? So there's not a type you could describe that would fit all of them.
Yeah.
Like, there might be, like, one or two, but at that point it's, like, insignificant. Like, sure, like, have a type, like, whatever.
Yeah.
Right, they're all girls. Like, congrats. Right, like,
Thanks,
right?
man.
Like, you know what I mean? So I think in that sense it's fake. Versus like, it's like your placeholder. you probably have a type in your head right now, which I don't know if you want to say or not, but like in your head you have a type right now.
Sure.
Tomorrow you might meet someone who doesn't fit any of those, but like something just happens and you like them, which is I'm guessing what happened in the past because you said none of them are similar.
Yeah.
Right.
None of them are that similar.
So then, like, I guess at least that's not generalized. At least for me and at least for you, types are fake. Cause like
Yeah, I mean that's true. That's an interesting point. Right? With the last 5 minutes, we can talk about this because it's I think it's funny that you mentioned, for at least for me and you, that doesn't exist. I think, and I all my homies know I've talked about the ocean analogy before, but have I talked about it with you?
no, I don't think so. Or you might have. If you talk about it, I'll let you know.
It takes too long to fully get into it, but like science inherently is like the measure of the objective. And when you measure objective, you measure populations. Measuring the subjective, when you get into like the not scientific realm, you're in like the like being, spiritual, like astral realm, is inherently subjective, and the only way that you can learn and go further along, like we're really far in science wise.
Yeah.
I don't think we're that far on the astral side. Mostly because it's an individual thing. Like, this is the whole idea with like the difference between Western and Eastern medicine. Eastern medicine starts with the individual and branches out. Western medicine says that's horrendous. How can you do that? They start with the population and then narrow it down. That's like the art of medicine in terms of like from a Western sense.
Yeah.
So, again, we grew up here in Canada. What we inherently are biased towards is the Western paradigm, which is that you start with a population and then specify it to an individual. But from what you're saying about this, it seems like there's value into starting with an individual and then maybe moving towards population.
Yeah.
It seems backwards though, even as I'm saying it.
Yeah.
Maybe because we grew up here.
Maybe you guys group here. Like, I don't know. Cause that's not our door, it's fine. Yeah, cause even like yeah. I do like I think it's like in terms of like stats terminology, it's like population versus unit study, right? Where you can study
Data guy.
you can study like it's like have you heard of like central limit theorem? It's like let's say you run different samples and each sample has a mean. This is gonna sound alright.
Get it on the whiteboard.
Okay, let's get it on the whiteboard.
This is your segment to end it off.
Okay. So central limit theorem is basically that you might have a sample that's a normal distribution. You might have a sample that's exponential, whatever, okay? But the central limit theorem says if you have, like, as the number of samples, not like the number of studies in a sample, as the number of sample increases and you take the mean from each sample, it's gonna end up following a normal distribution, right? But, like, think about what that actually is saying, though. The average from each of these individual samples will follow here, but that doesn't tell you anything about like the actual like people we studied, right? Like you'll completely lose the fact that this was an exponential study, that we had this many exponential samples within this, because we're only looking at like our end result, which I think it kind of fits here, because if you're looking at it from a population, narrowing it down to an individual, we lose sight of so many things that we like ignored, right?
Yeah.
Which end up being important, but because we're in like that like efficient, like get to
It's a scientific approach.
It's a scientific approach, but I guess it's just like to like you need to optimize what you're looking for. Medicine, it makes sense. You want to like get to as many people as like fast as you can, right? Like especially if it's like life-saving medicine, right?
Yeah. But then it's also Eastern medicine has done things that Western medicine has never.
Exactly.
Now I'd say 90% of Eastern medicine isn't as good.
Yeah.
But the 10% like has done some like things that Western medicine can't, like just couldn't even dream of.
Exactly. Like you're of Indian background, like if you go back past a couple generations, right?
Yeah.
Like turmeric milk was like in generations, like so much longer before they could describe like the good for it, and now there's like turmeric pills, like this is good for your thing, right? Like this might just like not be an Eastern Western thing, but just like the loss of like information over time. But it's like there's so many things that have value that people don't know like why, like going back to intellectualism. Anyways, let's call it there.
Maybe we can talk about we can call this something like intellectualism versus something like not intellect. I don't know.
I don't know.
I haven't thinking about a way to like outro, and my hair has gotten significantly messier. I have to stop playing with it.
Maybe you say the end time now.
No, no full loops. I just like look at the camera awkwardly, say something cringe, and then hit the hit the stop button. Say something cringe.
Live, laugh, love.
Oh, that was horrendous.